Welcome to The Explainer. We're diving into something really fascinating today. A kind of paradox, really. It's about that moment when an artist's greatest strength, their absolute mastery, becomes their biggest trap. So let's explore this question through a story. Imagine a master artist, someone who's at the absolute pinnacle of their career, but they're facing this huge crisis. And what's wild is it's a crisis of their own making. All right, so this is the core struggle for a guy named Fujiwara Kaoru. And get this, he's a 17th generation master of No, which is this incredibly ancient and disciplined form of Japanese theater. He is caught right in the middle of these two states, actually being the art versus just performing the art. And for him, this isn't some abstract idea. No, it's literally the difference between a breakthrough and total ruin. Okay, section 1, the master's crisis, the crack in the foundation. You see, for Kaoru, the whole point of No is to completely erase yourself, to become this pure channel for the art to flow through. But here's the problem. After decades of perfecting exactly that, a little part of his mind has started, well, watching him, and it just will not go away. He calls it a watching consciousness. It's this state of hyper self-awareness where he feels separated from his art, almost like there's a pane of glass between them. So now every single move, every authentic act, it just feels like a performance. He's become both the actor and his own harshest critic all at the same time. And this is a problem that's been growing for years, he says, with the slow, irrevocable patience of a crack in a foundation. The thing that's failing isn't his skill. His body knows every single move perfectly. The problem is his mind. It can no longer achieve that self-forgetfulness that makes the art so powerful. And with a huge state performance coming up, this internal crisis is just filling him with dread. So here we are in section 2, this silent observer. And just when things are at their worst, a letter shows up. It's from this mysterious university student, Kawase Rei. And he makes a very, very unusual request. Rei asks, to be permitted to observe, to witness the process by which a man who has spent his life perfecting the art of becoming someone else prepares once more to disappear. I mean, just think about that for a second. He doesn't want to learn No. He's not asking for lessons. He just wants to watch, to witness this process of disappearance. Kaoru is, intrigued by this, so he agrees. And Rei starts showing up to his practice sessions, sitting perfectly still, totally silent, sometimes for hours on end. He's offering this unique kind of non-judgmental observation. It's called equal attention. Basically, he's observing everything, the boring stuff and the beautiful stuff, with the exact same quality of awareness. No judgment, just pure observation. All right, section 3, gaps in the glass. A little glimmer of authenticity. So for weeks, Kaoru keeps practicing, and honestly, the crisis is still there. But something is changing. Rei's silent, equal attention is starting to shift the whole atmosphere in the room. But then, during the 6th week, completely out of the blue, when Kaoru isn't even trying, something happens. For just 3 or 4 seconds, he says, "The glass between myself and the art ceases to exist. Poof. The watching mind is gone. That pane of glass just dissolves, and for the first time in years, Kaoru experiences real, authentic stillness. He isn't performing stillness anymore. He just is still." And here's what's so fascinating about these gaps. They never happened during the complex, dramatic movements. Nope, they happened during the simplest things, just walking or turning, and they were definitely not a product of him trying harder. It seemed like Rei's equal attention was the key. It gave Kaoru's watching, critical mind absolutely nothing to grab onto, nothing to judge. Okay, section 4, the mask's paradox. This is the final obstacle. So Kaoru is feeling like he's on the verge of a real breakthrough, and so he decides to bring back the most crucial tool of his art, the iconic No mask. Now, you have to understand the purpose of this mask. It's not just to hide the actor's face. The idea is to completely replace the actor's identity, to abolish the self so that the role can literally take over. It's the ultimate tool for what he's been trying to do all along. But for Kaoru, the mask now does the exact opposite. The second he puts it on, that watching mind comes roaring back with a vengeance. The very tool that's supposed to help him transform has become the ultimate barrier blocking him. He explains this to Rei, saying, I become a man wearing a mask rather than a mask wearing a man. You see the problem? The mask's whole purpose is becoming someone else, and that very purpose is what activates the watcher, who then steps in to supervise the becoming. The effort traps him. It makes him more self-aware than ever. And now for our final section, a thing to put down, the big paradigm shift. So after listening to all this, really listening, Rei offers an insight that it reframes the entire problem. It's not a solution, not really. It's a completely new way of seeing. He says to Kaoru, I think the mask is not a thing you put on. I think the mask is a thing you put down. Wow. Just let that sink in for a moment. Rei is suggesting that Kaoru has been treating the mask as a goal, as an effort, as something to achieve. But what if it's the opposite? What if it's something to relinquish? To just put down the effort, put down the identity, put down the self. You see, a thing to put on, that's an effort. It's a goal. It's a performance. But a thing to put down, that's a release, a surrender, an acceptance. This is the whole paradigm shift right here. It's moving from striving to surrendering, from the effort of becoming to the simple release of just being. And just like that, the very thing that was his biggest obstacle becomes the key to his freedom. And this story, I think, illustrates such a universal struggle, one that goes way beyond the stage, right? It leaves us with a really powerful question to think about in our own lives. What in your life is a thing you are trying to put on versus a thing you really need to put down?